My name is Matt Viegas. I am a second year student at Toro University, Nevada. So I'm going to pause here for a second, give people a chance to come in and just glance and see how this stream is looking. Alright, so I'm on my iPad. Let me just make sure this is going through. Everything looks pretty good. How's everyone's weekend going? Cool. Okay, so want to touch upon my plans with social media really quick. I have some notes here, so sorry my eyes are sort of shifted, but I'll just sort of quickly go through this. So if you haven't already, please follow my blog on WordPress. And so on there, I'm just writing short articles starting with me and my personal journey, especially since not too many people know me, or at least this stuff about me that I'm talking about in my blog. So please follow that, check that out. And then here in the Facebook live stream, hopefully after building my following and doing this several times, I hope to interact with you all in the chat and sort of push forward where to go with my blogs after I sort of run dry with what I want to talk about. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I actually do like this streaming video stuff because that's how I've felt a stronger connection virtually with some of the people that I've had the opportunity to meet at CSM, which is an annual national conference. That I will talk about in another video. So I'm not going to go too in-depth there, but yeah, got back from this conference last week and it was a lot of fun. So I will definitely write a blog post about that and do another live stream video on that in the future. But for now, just really trying to get the grounds going for all my different stuff. So you see down below, okay, you see down below all my different handles, usernames, tags, and stuff. So definitely check those out. I'm still getting the ball rolling with everything, but really been putting in a lot of work and very excited for what's to come. So the biggest thing I've got going on Instagram, I've been using Photoshop to do some personal stuff. So with Instagram, I'm putting up motivational quotes. And what makes this different from just the other stuff you would find on Google or Instagram is that it's based off my influences and some of the pictures that I've taken as I've been traveling around and taking photos, especially when I go back home because I don't go home that often. So really quick, I'm in the Las Vegas area right now for school at Toro University, Nevada for physical therapy. And I'm originally from the Bay Area. So San Francisco Bay Area, East Bay, small town called Oakland. Let me go back on that. Small town called Alameda near Oakland. And it's a great place if you ever have the chance to go. You should check it out and ask me about like different spots to visit and whatnot. So I'm just gonna go in it right now with my blog post. So it's pretty much about me. They've all been really short. The first thing, of course, is my jersey that I'm wearing. Okay, Underdog Mentality, Curry, 30, right? Stephen Curry. So you've probably seen those Under Armour commercials with Stephen Curry going off about all those different tweets or all that jazz, whatever, about how he's been talked down or been told that like he's not big enough or whatever. But really wanted to hone in with this live stream about the underdog mentality. So what is that, right? So basically, it's just this mindset that people are telling you you're not good enough or something along those lines, and really tuning that out. Really tuning that out and just having your game plan and sticking to it. So before I get into me and what I'm going to talk about, I'm just going to briefly touch upon the Warriors since I'm from the Bay Area and I've followed them pretty much all my life and I've been a loyal fan. And how I mean, there's a lot of talk now about bandwagons and whatnot. I can go into that another time, but basically, just how it's so great now being able to see my home team achieving things and getting a sense of accomplishment, and a lot of it having to do with Stephen Curry, but really, from a Warriors fan perspective, really from the bottom to the top, whole way through management, everyone, all the staff, all the team members, just teamwork and cooperation, and just being there for one another and providing a lot of support. I think that's a really big thing. I'll probably go into that in another blog post, but really what I'm trying to do now is just focus on that underdog mentality. So with Stephen Curry, right? So you probably know already. He has all those accolades and being the number one vote. I'm gonna butcher a lot of stuff, but like you know all his achievements. You can just go look up Stephen Curry on Google and just see like how he's been so popular with people, and a lot of that just has to do with this underdog mentality and really sticking to a game plan and training, practicing, believing in yourself, not letting others talk you down. So that's where I want to go with that. I think I will leave that there for now until I do another like blog post going more in depth with the Warriors since I'm such a big fan. I wanted to tell a little story though about it's pretty funny, but it's from middle school back in like 2002 or so, and how there was this huge thunderstorm going on in the Bay Area in Oakland, and how I was still trying to convince my mom to take me to this event going on. So I got free tickets from middle school to go to this live Warriors event, and it was awesome. Even though there was like pounding thunderstorm and rain, and it was dark and everything, I convinced my mom to drive me all the way over to Oakland and just enjoy being there, even though the Warriors, okay, so the Warriors sucked at that time, but even though it was like that, just being in the atmosphere and seeing what other kids are doing with basketball and crossovers and dribbles and shooting and whatnot, because I like playing around, but for me it would be like just shooting around on the court, playing horse or whatever with friends during recess. Recess was a big thing back then, so if people are, forgot about how those elementary school and middle school days were, recess was a lot of fun, and I'll touch more upon that in a bit. So, my experience growing up, I think that's the biggest thing. I don't think one video can really do it justice, so I'll try to touch upon that a little bit here. And if you have any questions, certainly feel free to ask. I can't really see everything. I'm trying to look at my iPad and see if there's anything, but I'm just going to go into it. So with me, um, I'm going to briefly review all of the blog posts I've done thus far. Basically, I was born March 23rd, 1990 in Alameda Hospital. So Alameda is a small town where I came from, and I'm probably going to be one of the last people you ever hear that from, because unfortunately that unit no longer exists within the hospital. So really quick, just wanted to mention that. But for me, being born and then going to Children's Hospital of Oakland and going there pretty frequently for rehab, for PT. And I mentioned this when I was talking with a pediatric PT that I met during a conference. I mentioned how, like, for me, obviously I was really young, so I don't remember a lot of those sessions when I was little, but what I did remember was going to the gift shop at Children's Hospital of Oakland. So, I mean, obviously, as a kid, you'd be intrigued by toys and colorful things and whatnot. So, those are pretty much where most of my memories are. Although I do remember when I was a little bit older going in for annual visits, and I'll probably do another blog post about that and talk more about that later. So for me, growing up, I have two older siblings, one older sister and one older brother. We got a pretty big age gap. My brother is 6 years older than I am, and my sister is 9 years older. So that's school-wise. That's why, as I got towards middle school, high school, it was pretty much me while they were in college and whatnot. But yeah, growing up, learning how to do things as someone who, from a healthcare perspective, like I understand it more now because I'm in school and everything, but from a healthcare perspective, how as a patient, I sort of felt dropped off and left to my own devices. And I understand it with like insurance and cost of having a movement specialist that has this amount of knowledge. But for healthcare within pediatrics for children, what I want to briefly mention is that having this like sort of adult healthcare system and coming in the perspective of being an adult and how to manage that and everything doesn't really translate well for kids. I mean, I get that you'd have to learn a few more things, but it really doesn't translate well because for someone like me with a lower motor neuron injury, brachial nerve plexus injury, it's like how do I reach my full potential with movement? And how do I do that on my own and just going through school? So there's one little thing I wanted to mention before I go into talking about my brother. So with me, I've had quite a few experiences growing up, and the biggest thing I want to mention is just how physically intensive kindergarten is, or first grade, right? So, I have this brachial plexus injury, and like, what does that mean? It basically means that, at least for me, with my shoulder and elbow and just moving my arm, there's some limitations there. And so as a kid, trying to do things that required two hands, like really intense things, especially for me being left-handed, it was like It was crazy, and I'm grateful because my mom spent a lot of time helping out during elementary school when she had those opportunities with like PTA, like Parent Teacher Association or whatnot. So as a kid, trying to use scissors as a left-handed person and trying to cut things was like always so difficult, so so difficult. It was such a pain, but I still got all of my assignments done that I needed back then, and like learning how to write and like all of these things. It just it's such an experience. So I'll probably touch upon more of these things in the future, and definitely comment, especially if you're watching this replay, if you want to hear more, and I'll follow up on that. So really quick, my plan as far as live streaming, I'm not sure exactly how frequent I'll go because I will be going back into school next week. So I will just say for now, maybe every other week. That way I can build up talking points and my blog posts and articles and all of that stuff. All right, so moving on from there and talking about my brother just a little bit. So I did mention how I would do different things and using pretty much the muscles that I have that are intact and whatnot, like skateboarding, snowboarding, and all of that good jazz. But wakeboarding is a pretty extreme sport. It's pretty costly, and you got to have a lot of trust with the people that are running the boat and doing other things. So what wakeboarding is really quick is you are strapped, your feet are strapped in to this board, and you wear a life vest for safety. And there's this handle you have to grab onto and hold, and just trust the person communicating, relaying back and forth with the person who's driving the boat. And so there's different ways of doing that. There's like flags and other things, but I'm trying to figure out how to move for anyone is like, especially in extreme sports, pretty crazy. It's pretty gnarly. So just being in water that's pretty cold because it's Pacific Ocean. Okay, so even though it's California and all sunshine and whatnot, like the Pacific Ocean is pretty cold. So being in the water, strapped into this wakeboard, and then just trying to figure out how to get up and just like how close do I have to put my hands, or like do I just let go, and like how do you relax and whatnot. Like really figuring out those things is pretty key for being successful with just moving and just standing up with a wakeboard and trying not to fall and whatnot. So it's been fun when I've had those couple of experiences and actually being able to get up and whatnot and feeling that sense of accomplishment. So I just wanted to briefly mention that story because that's one of the big things where like if I didn't have an older brother, I'm not sure I would have experienced that. So there's a lot of things. I'm only touching upon a few here, but basically I wanted to leave it at this, and then if you like what you saw, feel free to like. If you have any thoughts, please do comment. Because I would totally love feedback so I know where to go from here or what to improve and whatnot as I start out. Okay, so the next thing I will probably talk about in the future is more about this conference that I just went to and all the experiences I've had with that and networking. So look forward in the future for this big live stream video about CSM Combined Sections meeting hosted by the American Physical Therapy Association. So thank you very much for your time and for watching. So hope you have a great weekend, and I will leave it off at here. All right, enjoy.